can it be that you're here with me? Let's start writing our own history.
We're used to slices, so we get a little slice of everything.
Não tem garoa, mas tem muita água.
Left my umbrella on the tube, but I don't miss it.
Hello and welcome to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates for the second edition of the Burj2Burj Half-Marathon, the most iconic race in the country, bringing people together from all over the globe. I'm Amy Gillingham and joining me is our roving reporter Max Kluwer and our commentary team Doug Berg and Clara Molinaro. We will be bringing you all the action, atmosphere, results and so much more. Over 10,000 runners from all corners of the globe will be gathered to rise to the challenge and embrace the unparalleled atmosphere of Dubai. Whether you're a seasoned marathon runner or doing it for the very first time, the Burj2Burj Half-Marathon is an iconic opportunity. From last year's 3,651 participants to over 10,000 runners making their way to Dubai here today. Coming up on the show, we are going to have all the live action from the start line and beyond with Max Kluwer, an insight about today's elite runners, and of course the race route with our commentary team, and also a showcase of the wonderful skyline of Dubai and the rest of the United Arab Emirates. We also have exclusive 360-degree footage here today, interactive maps, which you can access at home on Pulse TV. So stay tuned, join us for a journey that's going to take you through the heart of Dubai, and we're going to witness some incredible running and performances here today. Now let's get straight to the action. We're going to go across to our commentary team, Doug Bird and Clara Molinaro. I'm going to pass over to you. What are your thoughts on today's race? It is, of course, the second edition of the Burj2Burj Half-Marathon. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the changes from last year to this year?
I think it's going to be a great race. The course is obviously going in a different direction to last year, but it looks like you've got some great conditions for a really fast and exciting race from all of our athletes this morning.
Yeah, it looks like it's a truly international field, and it's exciting to be part of the Burj2Burj for 2025.
Thank you so much, Carla and Doug. We'll be hearing from Carla and Doug throughout the whole duration of the race, bringing you all the action, all the top tips, and all the professionalism about the elite runners. We're now going to head across to the start line where Max Kluwer, our reporter and MC, is soaking up the atmosphere at the start right by the Jumeirah Towers.
Volkswagen.
Left my umbrella on the tube, but I don't miss it.
Sun is shining through with weather fair. Over the dunes came a traveling man.
Behind us, the palm trees of Dubai, and on that side, the beautiful Jumeirah Emirates Towers. A big shout out to them and their incredible team for all they've done to make this start venue possible for us. A reminder to the athletes, don't get congested. Keep on walking through the start chute. Remember, there's 10,000 of you. That means we've got a line of about 500 meters of athletes as you make your way into your start batches. Please listen to our batch marshals If you can hear us, you're at the start, you're going to be fine. If you're far away and you're just hearing our voice right now, you need to hustle. You need to move. You need to get your running legs on because you've got to get to the start line and make sure that you're here for your start at 6:05. Remember, 6 o'clock, the start time for the elite athletes. And what a field of weapons we have in both the elite women's and both the elite men's team. Look over here to my left-hand side, and let's welcome some of the elite athletes as they make their way to the start line. They're going to get ready for the warm-up, and they are ready to set it alight. Remember, there is a bonus for the elite men if they go under 60 minutes, a bonus for the elite women if they go under 70 minutes. Our winning time here for the men last year, 1 hour and 3 minutes. Our winning time for the women last year, 1 hour and 11 minutes. So just looking at this field, any one of the men in the top 10 can definitely beat that time. And any one of the 7 or 8 women in the top 10 can definitely beat that time. So it is a race, and this is an incredible field assembled in just the second year. The City of Magic, and it is so good to be back here in 2025. Lots of water stations and aid stations along the route, 5 stations along the route as well. As you make your way on that little left-hand turn, about 7.5 kilometers in, over the canal, and then from there it's a straight line to the finish. As you get to the finish, it's a short 300-meter right-hander, and then another right-hander over the finish line about 100 meters later. Right there, you're onto the boardwalk. You're onto the beach at Jumeirah. You'll make your way, grab your medal, get your hydration in, get photos, high five your best friend in the face, and make your way onto the beach into the race finish, where you can kick back, relax, and celebrate with over 10,000 athletes. Enjoy the vibe. It's going to be a beautiful day. Welcome to Dubai. All right, Eddie, so just looking at the weather conditions, near perfect, not a drop of winds. Nice and humid, even so early in the morning. We know temperatures were just right. Yesterday we had a bit of wind blowing offshore, bringing that dust with it, but obviously overnight clearing up beautifully. And remember, we run for the first 20 to 25 minutes in these conditions before the sun starts coming up. The water of the beautiful coastline will be on your right-hand side as you aim 1 foot in front of the other towards the finish line.
Thanks so much, Max Kluwer, our roving reporter for today and MC. He'll be bringing you most of the action from the start line, and then he'll also be joining me at the finish line to get some interviews with some of the elite runners, in particular the first men and women's runner that crosses the finish line here today. So we're going to move on. So Dubai, a city where ambition meets possibility, where tradition dances with innovation, and where every corner tells a story of a bold vision. Welcome to the city that's not just a place, but a living, breathing masterpiece of the future and very much the land of opportunity. Now, the Burj2Burj Half-Marathon was once a dream by founder and CEO of world's iconic Warwick McNichol, which is now a reality and a remarkable story of the United Arab Emirates. So let's take a look now at what Ida Al-Basayedi has to say, the Associate Vice President of Consumer Advocacy at Social and at the Dubai Economy and Tourism has to say about the remarkable Dubai.
Dubai's robust sports calendar, as well as world-class facilities, allows it to be the destination of choice. We have solidified our position for sports athletes, as well as elite professionals and local enthusiasts to use this destination as their platform for fitness. In addition to that, we do have quite a lot of sports and fitness professionals, as well as coaches who have chosen Dubai, not just from a tourism perspective, but also to live here. Dubai has already set a foundation that promotes a culture of fitness and health and well-being. Partnerships such as this between government and the private sector really lay the foundation of not just individual, but businesses as well as governments to put together events such as Burj2Burj, as well as the renowned Dubai Fitness Challenge, which takes place every winter in the city. And with this, it sets people's limits and goals to a much higher degree, just like the city of Dubai.
So Dubai is home to many incredible and inspirational people, from history makers, trailblazers, to visionary leaders and entrepreneurs. People who continue to push the boundaries that truly make the world a better place. Diane Rakina is one of those amazing people who actually use the power of sport to overcome significant health issues. So let's take a look at Dina's story.
Before participating in the fitness challenge, I had a number of health issues. During the pandemic, that's when I had diagnosis of epilepsy. It made me realize to make health as my priority, and that's where the Dubai Fitness Challenge comes in. I always make it a point that every year I join in any event, especially the yoga sessions in the fitness hubs and the culmination of Dubai Run. Starting your fitness journey, what you need to think about is just take it one step at a time. It is a journey after all. The key here is resilience, and make sure that you celebrate every win. That's when I realized that, oh, I should take care and make my health a priority.
Now, this is not just a race for the people of Dubai. The Burj2Burj Half-Marathon is quickly taking the limelight on the global stage. And with its route already acknowledged as a fast course and a route switch from last year, it's certainly expected to be an exciting encounter. So let's take a look at the international elite runners that will be joining us here today, starting off with the men's category. Mukhtar Idris from Ethiopia, Bernard Koech from Kenya, Solomon Bareyu from Ethiopia, Wisely Yigo from Kenya, Johannes Schipinelli from Italy, Samuel Fitwi from Germany, Adrazek Sharik from France, Mayok Jie from Tanzania, Dennis Melli from Kenya, and Ruben Misop from Kenya. And finally, Enos Kirupto Sate, who is in fact last year's runner from Kenya. He finished the course in 1 hour, 3 minutes and 28 seconds. So the lineup for the women today: Yelm Zerf Yehualu from Ethiopia, Eilish McColgan from Scotland, Guten Sean from Ethiopia, El Maris Ayew from Ethiopia, Veronica Wanjiru from Kenya, Havin Hay Ilu from Ethiopia, Doreen Shakiri from Kenya, Hannah Lehome from Sweden, Monica Silva from Portugal, Nina Mabui from Tanzania, Sharona from Kenya. Last year was in fact Gaspor, actually not competing today, but her time was 1 hour, 11 minutes and 25 seconds. Can any of those women beat that score today? Okay, so we are moments away from the start of the second edition of the Burj2Burj Half-Marathon.
تجربة التسوق في The Fresh Market تجمع بين الجودة والنظارة اللي تستحقها والتوصيل وين ما كنت. The Fresh Market.
Well, it's a very good morning from Dubai. The city is certainly alive and the energy is electric. And the stage is set for what I think is going to be an unforgettable morning of racing. Now, this is a half marathon that's more than just a test of speed and endurance. It's a journey, and it's a journey through one of the most spectacular cityscapes in the world. Runners are gathered here at the start line, right in front of the majestic Jumeirah Emirates Towers, which is of course an iconic symbol of Dubai's ambition. And in just a few moments, the runners will be setting off on a route that blends towering skylines, coastal roads, and of course, pure speed. And right now, the start line is buzzing. That is for sure. The music's pumping and the last-minute warm-ups are happening with the elite athletes ready to make history here today. We are now officially off for the start of the 2025 Burj2Burj, and the pace is hard to get-go, as to be expected. Well, it goes without saying that we've got an absolutely stacked men's field here, featuring some of the biggest names in road racing. We of course have Bernard Koech from Kenya, He's a man who knows what it takes to push the limits, and he's got a 58:41 half marathon PB. And today, no doubt, he's looking to add another title to his name. He's going to be chased down, though, by fellow Kenyans Wesley Yego and, of course, Enio Cabruto Sart, both ready to shake things up. Now, it's not just about the men's. Of course, on the women's side, all eyes are going to be on Yelimzerf Yehaulau from Ethiopia. She's one of the fastest, but she's got some serious competition in Eilish McColgan, who's known for her endurance and ability to close very strong. This is going to be a ladies' race for the ages.
Okay, it's great to see the leading women starting to heading down there. Eilish McColgan in that lead group, and they're starting to check their watches. I imagine they're just starting to settle into the pace and their race strategy for the day. Probably not going off too fast, and they're going to slowly be building into that pace. Nice to see a nice little group of like 6 women in there. Hopefully they can work together to try and make this a nice, fast race. The conditions look like they're perfect, which is going to be really exciting. And it might be quite interesting today to see if any of these ladies are going to be trying to go for either the European or the world qualification standards later on in the year. Both of those races are going to be really exciting. And I think today is a really exciting race to see if we can get some great times.
Dubai has become a powerhouse for high-performance sport, with world-class events like this proving that the UAE is investing big in elite competition. From athletics to triathlon to endurance racing, Dubai is certainly setting the pace. And today, the Burj2Burj takes center stage.
There, and she's looking very comfortable in the early stages of this race here, Carla, as we now come back to the men's, where the pace looks really high. As the camera comes in focus, an idea of who's up front. We've got Bernard Kocek up front at the moment, number 102. He's looking very, very comfortable, as are all these athletes, to be honest. This early on, I mean, they've just got to the 20 kilometers to go marker. And is this just a case of letting their body settle into the rhythm? Any real moves get made? And that being said, it's so flat. How does one plan making a move on a course this fast?
This is our chase group of the ladies heading down the main road. We're going to see if they're going to be closing the gap a little bit or if that gap is going to extend. It looks like the lead group have put in quite a little bit of road space to begin with at the moment. So they might have a little bit of work to do in order to close that gap on those leading females. It looks like they are a couple hundred meters down the road at the moment, but with it still being dark, we can't really see everything that's happening, but that's quite exciting. As the sun starts to rise, we'll start to be able to see where everyone else is in the race, and these chase group will have something to focus on. Although they can see those car lights in the distance, which is always nice to kind of lock onto and try and rein those other ladies in.
Yeah, Carla, it's, I guess, difficult in these types of early emotions to really be able to pace yourself, especially when you are off the pace and you're needing to catch up. That being said, I'd imagine the runners just run within themselves, know what they are capable of, and keep to their race plan. Right now, I'd imagine keeping things calm and steady, not panicking, absolutely crucial, because we've still got a long way to go, although that leading group of ladies is certainly flying.
We can see from this map that the first couple of Ks, they are running along the road. They're currently running at 21 kilometers per hour, which is in right now, and press start on your watch and see if you can get up to those speeds. I'm pretty sure most people couldn't. We are only 1K into the race, and they're going to be making that nice right-hand turn in a minute. This course is really fast, although it is a little bit different to last year where we are going in the opposite direction. It is amazing to see this really nice group of men. We've got about 7 of them in this lead pack at the moment, and they're moving really nicely. Their leg speed, they're turning over nice and quickly and working together in this pack. And it's going to be exciting to see if we can get firstly, some quicker times than last year, and also how close these guys are going to be running to the current world records. For the men, that is 57.30, and for the women, that is a 62.52. Last year, the men's course record was 63.28. So we can just see how fast these guys are running. But they also look so smooth and relaxed at this point. No one's having to hold on for dear life quite yet. And they're moving nice and smoothly as they head down towards the lights of the city. And it's great to see everything starting to come alive, which we're going to get more of as the day goes on.
Volkswagen.
Left my umbrella on the tube, but I don't miss it.
There's a slight split, it looks like, in this women's lead pack, where they're starting to be strung out a little bit, which hopefully means we're going to have a nice fast race on our hands. There's still about 7 ladies in that main pack, with this being our chase pack of 1 at the moment, trying to bridge that gap. This is one of our local elites as well in this picture. We've got Tanku Jemeni Mamati. She was the winner of the Abu Dhabi Marathon 10K. Ailish McColgan has just dropped off this chase pack at the moment, but hoping that she can get back on it. And we've got Yalim Zief leading our ladies at the moment. She does have the fastest time on paper, so it's going to be great to see where she is and how she leads the pack.
The city lights are certainly alive here in Dubai, setting the stage for an electric morning of racing. All the runners are pushing forward now, deep into the heart of Dubai, and having set off from the beautiful Jumeirah Emirates Towers, they are now making their way towards the finish at Jumeirah. Certainly is an incredible sight, isn't it? Athletes weaving through the streets of downtown Dubai, a city that never sleeps. For those of you that have been here before, you'll certainly know that this place is another level. Dubai continues to drive high-performance sport. They are really investing heavily into elite programs and events. So events like this, the Burj2Burj, are really a statement, showcasing athletic excellence and setting the stage for an even bigger and better event to come in 2026 and 2027. Right now, the race is heating up as they approach the 4-kilometer mark. 20.4 kilometers per hour. The pace is absolutely blistering, and there's no sign of it slowing down, that is for sure. The pack is now well and truly locked into race mode. Bernard Koech, a name that carries some serious pedigree. Remember, he clocked a 58.41 back in 2013, and today it looks like he's here to prove he's still got the fire. Looking so comfortable. At this point, I'm not sure if these athletes will be working together or just running their own races, and they're all fast enough to be sticking together. Remember, they are racing both the men's and ladies for some impressive prize money here today, and even split. First will be walking away with $10,000, second 5, and third 4,000. As we have our lead group of ladies here, nothing much has changed in terms of the main protagonists. On the left-hand side of screen, they're looking very comfortable, and that long-rangey running style of Ailish McColgan, Great Britain, also looking comfortable. Number 156, those of you that have seen her checking her watch, that's Joreen Jepchirchir, is from Kenya. As we start to see, was that a little sunrise? No, not quite yet, just the bright lights of the city. So these ladies will also be approaching around the 4-kilometer mark now, which means they'll be turning right, and before, I'd say another about 1.5 kilometers before they turn left, and then left again, and then that is going to be the longest stretch of flat road that they find themselves running on. That's Jumeirah Beach Road. As they head to the finish, they'll have the warm Arabian Gulf on the right-hand side, the city on their left-hand side. As you see now in the ladies, they're starting to head out of the city and more towards the coast. On the outside there, we've got Mako Gay. He is on the left-hand side of the screen there, number 109. 102, that's Bernard Koch. Bernard Koech. 1112. Enyos Kiprutu. And just off the right-hand shoulder of Bernard, we have Ruben Muzip from Kenya. It's his debut here at the Burj2Burj. Good to see the vibes here on the sides of the route. Of course, it's very early in Dubai, so spectators, I think at this point, probably still in bed. Might find that when the runners turn onto the Jumeirah Beach road, that we might start to see a little bit more activity from the locals, as the men absolutely flying along the course here.
The men have just gone through the 5K mark. We also just saw them go through one of the first water stations, with only a couple of them picking up some water along the route. With this distance, I'm not too sure how many of them are actually going to be taking nutrition on, but it does look like it is a warm morning out there. So a little bit of hydration is probably going to be pretty helpful for them at this point, and potentially a little bit easier for the guys at the back of that pack to grab something than the ones at the front.
Run is looking really comfortable as they fly through the course. We're 15 minutes down now, 15:43 minutes in. Looking really comfortable now. No, I mean, to me, the thought of running in Dubai is probably quite intimidating, purely from a heat point of view, but really pleasantly surprised to see conditions today as mild as they are. Mid-20s. I'm not sure what the temperature on the ground is as we speak, so possibly in that.
Hey, today's the day. How are you feeling? مش عارفة. I feel like you could have prepared better. Yeah, but I saw your times. You're pretty fast. Almost caught me on loop. تعالي خليني نظبط لك إياها. Thanks. Hey, today might be the day I keep up with you. I kid you well.
All right, guys, we're about to kick off this race. Let's get started.
عن جد. جاهزة؟
All right, take your marks, guys. Good luck.
This is our chase group trying to close that gap on the leading men at the moment. And these roads are fast to run on. I ran on them about a year ago and they are perfect for racing. They are really nice and smooth and fast. And as we can see here, the lead women are back together in a pack again. It did look like earlier they were concertinaing a little bit, picking up the pace and slowing it down, but they've settled into a nice rhythm now. And they look like they're working together pretty well. Ailish there just checking the pace on her watch, maybe making sure that it's not too slow for her, although she has got a very fast kick. So that's going to be exciting to see as the race progresses, if she can pick that up a little bit. And we've got our chase ladies here. Again, maybe just glancing off into the distance to see if they can see those lights of that lead car, giving them something to latch onto and pull themselves towards. They look like they're working really well together, moving on really smoothly and just kind of ticking along and getting into the rhythm of the race. The half marathon distance is quite a nice one to race, but also you have to commit at the beginning, especially if you are trying to go for a quick time. And it's going to be, the times that were set last year were 63:28 for the men and 71:25 for the women. So 18 minutes into this race, and we start to get some splits through. It's going to be great to see if those times are going to be threatened this year. I've got a feeling that these ladies and these guys that are racing today are going to be a little bit quicker than last year, which is really exciting.
So they have gone through the 5 kilometer mark, and as soon as we get those times for you, we will certainly let you know. But a noticeable difference in pace there between the leading ladies group and the chasers, although the chasers certainly not giving up. The pace, yeah, it's hard to say. Are we on track for a faster time than last year in 71:21 from the ladies? I guess time will tell. As are we seeing moves starting to be made this early on in the ladies race there? A little like moving apart just a little bit. Of course, this event, the Burj2Burj is so incredibly well put together, and the athletes, when they're on the course, have access to absolutely everything that they need when it comes to nutrition on the route, as well as safety. You know, putting off an event like this is never easy, but from what we can see from the visuals, it's looking really spectacular. 15 Ks to go. The ladies have 15 kilometers left to go. So we're waiting to hear when our runners will be turning onto
So
the
our current
Jumeirah
placing
Beach
for
Road,
the
which is one of the most iconic stretches of the race. It offers stunning waterfront views. Of course, although there's not much of a breeze this morning, we'll be getting a glimpse of the Arabian Gulf, which might provide some relief to, I don't think the top runners, but perhaps the mid runners. They'll certainly enjoy that view. But it doesn't look like anyone stopping for views right now. So we have our leading men's group, of course, in camera. We also have our split screen of our chasing runner. To be falling off at this stage of the race and to come back is probably going to be increasingly difficult. That is for sure. The pace is certainly very hot. We've got no time splits to share with you at this stage, but a reminder that the race time in terms of winning men was 63:28, and yeah, just by the look at the pace at which they're running now, over 20 kilometers an hour, they're absolutely flying and looking comfortable. It's wonderful to see the sun starting to come up. It will give us a better sense of where the rest of the field is. Right now, pretty locked into the leading men's and ladies group, with the chasers seeming to be under a lot of pressure, that is for sure. This isn't something that these top athletes will be concerned about, but there's a 3-hour cutoff for all participants. Well, there we go. We have our splits this is at the 5-kilometer mark. So all coming through in around 14:05. So absolutely flying. And there really is nothing in it. The top 10 are together at this stage, although it looks like a noticeable increase in pace as that group starts to stretch out just a little. Bernard looking to be relentless up front, continually pushing the pace, with Ruben, Enos, and Johannes just tucking in there and riding the waves, so they were slipstreaming the rest of the bunch to conserve as much energy as possible. Still a way to go. I think they're now probably around the 13 mark, or at least 13 kilometers to go. But they're absolutely flying. In the ladies, Frida is pushing the pace, 16:07. So 16:07 down to 6th place. Everyone pretty much together, and then we start to see the time gaps forming between 7th and 10th. That chasing group pretty thin as well. 2 ladies together chasing that main bunch. But it looks as though we've got 2 distinct groups here in both men's and the ladies. I really don't see chasers being able to match the pace, let alone to be pushing the pace to come back and connect with these leading runners.
So it was great to see there the men and the women's 5K splits coming through there. Both of them at the moment are currently under last year's pacing. So it is a fast race and really exciting to see these guys and ladies picking up the pace a little bit, where we've actually got a really nice race on our hands. We've got a nice pack in the men and the women's field, and we can see them working together really nicely and smoothly. They are moving quickly low. The men and the women are both running, the men slightly under 3 minutes per K pace, and the women around that 3:10 per K at the moment. So they're running nicely, they're running quickly, and it's going to be exciting to see as we start to get into the business end of this race, what is going to happen. Looks like we might have a slight split from the men's group, and it's great to see them at the front really putting down the pace and trying to extend their legs and get a race on our hands.
As we take a look at the course, they're now on Jumeirah Beach Road. It's very flat, it's very fast, but it is relentless. To the right, the runners will be able to enjoy the views of the stunning Arabian Gulf. And on a course this flat, there's nowhere to hide. If you're in the red, there's no downhill to bail you out. This is pure unfiltered racing.
So we do have a bit of a split in the men's race. We've got 4 of the leading men having pulled away from the main pack. So we've now got a chase pack with those lead 4 slightly stringing out as well. And it looks like we have the same on the women's side. There's a little bit of a gap between the first 2 with Yelazim Yahoo taking on that leading pack of 3 women. A little bit of a break to Ailish, and then a little bit of a break to our 3rd chase pack. So those women are starting to put the hammer down a little bit and break the field. So it's going to be great to see if they can actually now start to pull that away, especially now we're about 25 minutes into the race and they're going to start feeling it.
There's nowhere to hide on courses this flat, that is for sure. Growing up myself and running on courses that have a few more hills, you can at least recover a little bit on the descents.
The elite runners to the main pack. They are going at such a pace that even these amazing men who are, are very fast club runners are struggling to keep up with those ladies up at the business end of the field. And now we have the split of our leading 3 ladies and Ailish in the chase pack there. It's going to be great to see if she can actually still keep these women in her sight and hopefully rein that in a little bit and close that gap. But Yelizev is at the front, checking her watch there, checking to see if she's on pace. I wonder if she has a race tactic in mind. She might be trying to go for that sub 70 minute, where in addition to the prize money, which is a insane prize pack for 1st, 2nd and 3rd, there are time bonuses for the men and the women. For the first lady to get under 70 minutes and for the first man under 60, there is an additional $3,000 on the line today. So that might be something that they're aiming for. And again, they might also be looking to see if they can clock the world standard 62 minutes for the men and sub 70 for the women. And that is for the World Running Road Championships, which is going to be later on in the year in San Diego. At that World Road Running Championships, we're going to see the mile, 5K and 21 kilometers run on the streets of the USA. Keogh leading the men at the front. He is looking comfortable. His shoulders look relaxed. His cadence is high. And he is moving along this road really nice and quickly. None of them at the moment are taking water from those stations. So we've got Diego there pointing to the road next to him. I think he wants to have a little bit more. At the moment, Bernard is doing all of the work at the front, and I think he's probably signaling to his side to try and get him to kind of take a little bit of the lead. It is really hard when you are running at the front and you've got someone just one-stepping you, sitting on your shoulders at the back. It's always great when you can have someone next to you actually taking the burden of that work. It makes it a little bit easier. When there's someone just sitting on your tail, it does make it a little bit harder. And, you know, for the person sitting behind, it can actually be a slightly easier race from them. They'll get a little bit of a performance benefit from just tucking in, sitting on that shoulder, and letting Bernard do all of the work here. Looks like in the women's race, Yelazim has taken the lead. She has broken the field a little bit, and I don't think there's anyone else that is running with her at the moment. She is out there at the front, cruising, looking super relaxed and comfortable. And there is about a 20-meter gap between her and the second lady. So these two still just running one behind each other, cruising along, looking relaxed. But Bernard doing all of that work at the front. His legs turning over really nice and quickly. His arms and shoulders are relaxed as they just cruise down the road. Looks like the sun is starting to rise, or at least think about it. So it's going to be great as that comes up to start to see the city in a little bit more light. These two have made a break from the rest of the field though, and they have pulled away from them. I'm not too sure how far it is back to the chasing men, but Diego is just sitting on behind, letting Bernard do the work. And it's going to be really exciting to see when he takes the lead and puts the hammer down. Maybe he's at his limit here and that's why he can't pull alongside him. Although he is looking behind him to see where the other guys are. Always risky looking behind you in a race. You know, it could give the chase group a little bit of fuel to think that maybe those lead guys are starting to suffer a little bit and could give them a little bit of an extra boost. Or he could just be looking behind because he's feeling a little bit comfortable and he just wants to see where that chase pack are. Bernard hasn't looked behind him though. You know, he's still nice and relaxed, but I'm sure he's wanting Diego to come up next to him and do a little bit of the work with him.
Hey, today's the day. How are you feeling? مش عارفة. I feel like you could have prepared better. Yeah, but I saw your times. You're pretty fast. Almost caught me on the loop. تعالي خلينا نظبط لك إياها. Thanks. Hey, today might be the day I keep up with you. I kid you well.
All right, guys, we're about to kick off this race. Let's get started.
عن جد. جاهزة؟
All right, take
يلا.
your marks, guys. Good luck.
Gunning it, Murray with the legs, all about finesse. Timing it with last, then you see the flags. Elohim with the melody, and then he supply the bread. 70, keep it heavenly, everybody get the bread.
Great to see that little ad break showcasing some of the highlights of Dubai. It really is an incredible city that hosts, you know, a range of culture and exciting things to see in it. But we are back here now with the ladies' race, and it looks like Yelazim has made a significant break on the rest of the field. She is absolutely cruising with about 50 meters at least between her and the second lady. And she is just putting in the miles on the road. It's great to see that she isn't just sitting back and coasting along, and that she's actually here to race. I always really like this type of racing where it's gutsy from the front and you can go ahead, put pace and churn out those miles, even if the rest of the field are not with you. I like being able to race hard, and it's really exciting to see. It's great to see that she isn't just sitting back and coming along, and that she's actually here to race. I always really. So we can see on the map here where the leading guys are now heading out towards the 13-kilometer point on the map. And we are now in that nice, fast, flat stretch along the coastline all the way down to the finish. They'll be passing the Jumeirah Bay shortly, although I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to see that. So here are our 10K splits coming through at the moment. A 28:39 for Jago, Bernard in second and Enos in third. They are nice and close together. Although since this 10K split, we are a little bit further along the course at the moment. So there is a slightly bigger gap within the field now, with Bernard leading the charge for the men. There is a big gap from these leading two men to our third place. We've got about 50 meters between these two and our third place at the moment, but they are moving along nice and quickly.
It's fascinating to see the pace of these runners. Bernard certainly, from the go, almost has really not hesitated. He seems to have been in his own world. He's here to win this race. That is very, very clear. Although he is going to be feeling a little bit of pressure in terms of coming into the finish and whether he can up this pace even further, because Ruben is looking like he's stuck to him like glue and not going anywhere. At this point, it's a two-horse race. Will it become a one-horse race? Well, I think time will tell, as they are now under 13 kilometers to go. And yeah, I think we might see a faster time than we did last year in 63:28.
You know when you sit on the toilet for too long? I can't feel my legs.
So they're now on the beautiful Jumeirah Beach Road, heading to Sunset Beach, where their actual finish will be, as we start to see some drone shots now as Dubai begins to wake up. Jumeirah Bay is, of course, a beautiful place to visit in Dubai. The warm Arabian Gulf will be on the right-hand side of the runners, but there's one thing that is for sure. They certainly won't, at this point, be paying any attention to that. It's full-on race mode, absolutely flying. It is going to be a very, very fast race through to the finish. As we see some scenes now from the drone shot of down Dubai, with the famous Dubai skyline in the background. Great shot there as our leading men. And now that you see from this drone shot, just a bit of context as to how fast these men are running at the moment. Over 20 kilometers an hour. This pace hasn't dropped on loads to speak of on this course of the Burj2Burj. Maybe a few gentle inclines and declines as they may move their way and over bridges like you've just seen now. But really, this is a very fast course. And I wouldn't be surprised in years to come. Of course, at some point, I know it's certainly part of the aspirations of World's Iconic to bring this event to the world even more every year. And what is also fascinating to note is that this sold out this year 10,000 runners. That was the capacity that the event could accommodate. So 10,000 runners participating. And wow, look at that gap now. That is significant. But they're not certainly putting the pace on. He's done that from the start. I don't see the third place runners being able to reconnect here. this is a two-man race through to the finish. As we look to the left of screen now, and you can start to, not quite, you can't see the Arabian Gulf at this stage.
Sun is shining through with weather fair. Over the dunes came a traveling man.
So now we're back down roadside. That's interesting there. Bernard showing he wants some work to be done. There's a takeover, bit of communication between the two runners here. Carla, what's being said there?
It looks to me like he has thought, do you know what? If I'm going to do all of the work, I am going to put the hammer down and I'm going to extend this gap. And he has done that really quickly. They came off that downhill section on the bridge where I think they probably picked up a little bit of momentum. And we can see now how quickly he has been able to put that hammer down and extend that lead. So it's going to be really exciting to see if he can keep this going. You know, it is frustrating when you are racing. You have got someone on your heels and they're not putting in that work. They could have worked really nicely together to be able to take some of the help, you know, from the race. He's checking his watch. He's looking to see what that pace is. But I am really excited to see this break in the men's field. You know, he's been putting in the work and hopefully he can keep on extending that lead. These drone shots are insane for us just to be able to see what that break looks like. And he is, you know, extending that stride by stride and getting a few steps quicker. I do think it is a hot morning out there, so I don't think it is easy work for them. You can see that humidity in the skyline when the camera pans out. It almost looks like it's foggy, but that is the humidity in the air. And humidity can make you run a little bit slower, sometimes up to 10 seconds per kilometer slower. So I do think these conditions, even though it looks like it is nice and still out there, I think this humidity will come into play with the final speed and the time that we're going to see that these guys are doing. So a break in the men's field. We now have our first, second and third place spread out, but they're still looking nice and comfortable. They're still looking nice and relaxed. And I think we're going to continue to see this break extend, although it does look now that he's settled into a little bit of a nice pace. However, I think he might have just snapped that elastic band slightly. So beautiful scenes of this bridge. You know, they are going to have to put in a little bit more work to get up on that uphill section of it, but that downhill coming up off the bridge is going to be quite nice to let their legs tone over a little bit quicker and get into their stride a little bit faster. It is quite nice when you can get slight undulations on a course. It does let your muscles work in a slightly different way. It lets you extend your stride, especially on that downhill, and give those hamstrings a little bit of a rest where they've had to work on that uphill section. So great shot here. I think we're going to be panning into our women's lead. Yelazim.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Yelazim. So here is our leading lady crossing the bridge. She is miles ahead of our second place. And again, great to see her still racing hard. She is looking really relaxed. You can see that on her face. Nothing grimacing there. Her hands moving nice and well across her body and extending her stride length a little bit on this downhill. In the background, we can see the chase group are just bridging the bridge, excuse the pun, coming over the top of that skyline, but she is at least 200 meters ahead. The sun is up now, so that chase pack are going to be able to see where have their eyes on her, although I'm not too sure if they'll be able to close that gap. So we can see here we have got our lead pack. Bernard he is wearing the Adi Zero Adidas Pro, and if you scan that QR code that is on your screen at the moment, you'll be able to see the full kit that he is wearing. I always find it really exciting to see what kit that they are using and what shoes everyone has gone for on race day. These are a really super fast Adios Pro shoe. A lot of the guys that I train with wear them and love them. They say that they are a really nice, smooth ride and probably the perfect shoe for this kind of race. They've got about 12 more minutes of racing in them today, so we will see those shoes get them across the finish line. We are now going to be able to see Jelle Zerf's kit that she is wearing today. She is Team Ineos, and she is in the Nike Alpha Fly 3. So we've got Adidas for the men and Nike for the women's race. Again, scan that QR code on your screen to be able to get the full breakdown of the kit, which for me, again, is always really exciting to see what everyone is racing in. And you can even get your hands on a pair of the leading men or women's shoe. So our 15-kilometer splits are about to come on in. So we'll be able to see the breakdown.
Slow down. There we go. Hold that. Speed up.
Okay, those splits will come in a few minutes for us. But at the moment, we can just see that extended lead in this women's race. The other ladies actually are nowhere in sight, and I think the likelihood of them closing that gap is very low. From here in the men's race, Bernard at the front is extending that gap. We could see our chase runner just dangling his arms to the side, I think maybe struggling a little bit, trying to shake everything off. I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to close this gap as well. Bernard has put the hammer down and he is constantly just getting a meter or two of a break between him and that second place. They're probably quite enjoying that the daylight has broken now. That is Ineos Kiptaro in second place. He is last year's winner. Looking at the pace on his watch, maybe seeing if he's running a little bit quicker than he was last year, checking that he's on his race pack. He might have a race strategy. He might have a specific pace that he wants to race at, which might be why he's just glancing down to see where he is at the moment. He is also racing in Adidas today. He's got that Adidas kit on. Can't quite see what shoes he is running in at the moment, but whatever they are certainly speedy. His legs are turning over nicely, but we're starting to see, like a little bit of tension building in his shoulders a little bit. I think he probably is starting to get a little bit tired now, and certainly not looking as Bernard Kioch up there in the front. We are starting to get into the closing few kilometers of the men's race. They are running at 20 kilometers per hour, which is staggeringly fast. I'm not even sure if I could run that fast if I was running downhill. So here we go. They are at about 17.5 kilometers now. So, starting to think about those last few kilometers. I mean, when you're leading a race like this, the things that start to go through your mind are, oh my God, I've been leading for so long. Am I going to be able to keep it going for now? Because it is always really sad if you've been leading, you've put in the work, you've broken the pack, and then the other guys start to rein you in. So we're going to pass over to Doug now to hear his thoughts on the race.
Well, it's clear that the gauntlet has been thrown down in both these and the ladies' race. There was no doubt in my mind that these two are going to cross the finish line in first position. It's just going to come down to how quick they're going to be able to do that. Are we going to see a gap between the finishing time last year of the winnings time for the men, 63.28, and the ladies, we've got 71.21. The threat. It was interesting to hear Carla note earlier on about the haze in the sky and referencing that to the humidity factor and much of an impact that can have on the runners out there. Of course, 21.1, there's not much fueling that these athletes can do other than possibly taking on a little bit of more hydrative relief or cooling themselves down with the humidity levels the way that they are. Of course, Dubai is synonymous for its heat and its humidity. That being said, it could be hotter, and as we see the day breaking there, it's 24 degrees. It is really fast and runnable conditions and looking very fast. Here we have the 15-kilometer split, so Bernard is absolutely flying. 42.55 at 15 kilometers. 42.56, of course, we are a little bit down the track now, so Wesley was still in touch at that point. But yeah, that has certainly changed now. That gap will be quite a lot bigger now. Nios in a third in 43.24 and Ruben Mossop in 44.02. So we're basically looking down that leaderboard now and seeing the gap starting to form. The only runners that are still together are pretty much at 6. Will they be able to put in a late surge here to at least make their way back up the ranking again? Well, time will tell, I guess. It's only going to get fast, as we see some of the local residents walking out of their driveway and wondering what is going on here on this very far and flat course. Of course, World's Iconic, the event that is being hosted by World's Iconic and put on by World's Iconic, this is exactly what they're out to do. They're here to build iconic events and iconic locations, and Dubai certainly is one of those locations. Jumeirah Beach, of course, where we'll be finishing today, is without a doubt one of those. It's a pristine, close coastline. You'll notice beautiful sands, crystal clear water. It really is a wonderful place to relax. So I think a fitting spot to finish off a tough 21.1 kilometers.
Let's start writing our own history.
Well, that is in the final few kilometers now as we come back from that ad break. It makes me want in an airplane and fly to Dubai immediately. Of course, as we've said, the finish at the beautiful Jumeirah beach, but there's so much to do in Dubai. Of course, places to visit, Dubai, the Palm Jumeirah, the Dubai Fountain, amongst many others, Dubai Creek, the desert safaris. Really, those of you that haven't traveled and are watching, haven't traveled to Dubai, I can really recommend it. So we've got, it's hard to say, I would say probably 3 kilometers left to go, and it looks as though nothing is really going to change here. Bernard is absolutely flying. I saw that the gaps were growing from the 15-kilometer splits that we saw some time back now. At this pace, I'm not sure they're going to dip under last year's time. Remember, Bernard's personal best is 58.41 for 21.1. So he certainly got it in him. And I'm excited to see if we can dip at least under last year's time. Carla, at this point in the race, at 1 kilometer to the finish, is it just locking in as hard as you can to the finish? No doubt. 1,000 meters to go. The 1 kilometer from the finish is the official word, as you can see on our infographic. The beautiful finish line lies in wait, Jumeirah Beach. It is, of course, where the registration was yesterday. 10,000 participants, but this man is going to take the honors today. Bernard Kochek from Kenya, personal best in 58.41. What is he going to do here today? We've got 57.47 clock at the moment. Remember, last year's winning time 63.28. So it seems as though he might be able to sneak under there, and I'm not sure if he's going faster. He just looked fast the entire route, that is for sure. As no doubt the people traveling in the vehicles next to him will be looking out their windows, will be blown away by the sheer sport of prowess that Bernard is putting on display here. As he checks his watch, I'm sure right now what he is going to be gunning for is, of course, hotspot prizes is going to be to try to dip under the race winning time of last year. Remember, $10,000 up for grabs for both the winning men's and ladies, 5,000 for second, 4,000 for third, as we now have less than a kilometer to go. It looks up ahead there, they might be turning right. Yeah, it looks as though a turn is about to come into play as we head into the last 100 meters for the finish of the 2025 Burj2Burj in the men's race. Bernard Kochek is on absolute fire as we start to see a few more spectators. It's nice to see them now. I suppose off the main roads gives them a little bit more access, but there is nothing that is going to slow this man down. What I can see on my screen is 9:12. It looks as though 63.28 of last year is certainly going to be under threat as Bernard Kochek stretches it out to the line. The right-hand turn once again onto the finishing straight. There we go. He can now see the finish line. It has been an incredible race. He has not slowed down from start to finish. Led a completely, or put on a completely dominant display as he expects to take the win here for the 2025 Burj2Burj. Absolutely incredible. What a performance. Claiming it across. So I'm sure that he will be relieved, happy, and looks as though it's just another day on the job for him. It was fascinating about these top runners as they cross the line. Sometimes look a little bit tired, but not overly tired. It looks like the day at the office for them. So Diego Whistler not too far behind. The also we get from the air makes the gaps often look a little bit bigger than they are. And as we look, our third place runner now approaching. That is, of course, Eneos Kipruto, also from Kenya. It is a Kenyan 1, 2, 3 here in the men's race for the 2025 Burj2Burj, powering through to the end, finishing strong. Incredible performance of these three men as we see the infamous Max Kleur on the finish line doing the live commentary, bringing our athletes home.
Amy Gillingham is excited right now. And here comes third place, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look and see. Enos Kiprito, is it him? The winner
Enos Kipruto of Kenya taking the final position in the men's top three. He looks like he's left it all out there today. Hands to the air, breathing it in, enjoying the result. No doubt would have been pushing for something a little bit, but it's always fascinating to me speaking to these athletes that in the top three. Generally they're always there for the win, that is for sure, but the top three is absolutely incredible. We see Warwick McNichol there in picture, the event founder and of course the CEO and founder of World's Iconic, as our fourth place man now approaches. That looks like Samuel Fitby. He is from Germany, yep. Running in for team On Cloud. So now you'll start to see the runners finishing, I suppose, in closer succession to one another. So there we go. We have got a men's podium, 1 hour and 14 seconds on the dot, 23 seconds between Bernard and Wesley. Enos 25 back. So Bernard and Wesley, it was very much a two-horse race. Enos rounding it off strong in third.
Bernard Coach, congratulations. 1 hour and 15 seconds. The winner of the 2025 Burj2Burj Half-Marathon. How was your run out there today? We see you got away from the rest of the field. You ran your own race.
Actually, the course is good. I enjoyed the course all the way through. The cheering and everything. Also, the weather was okay. I can say, actually, if the pesos was there, I was actually planning to run under 60. But still, 60-15 is okay for me. I came here to catch my speed because I'm preparing for marathon in March 16 in Seoul, Korea. I'm happy.
Have you enjoyed your time here in Dubai? Do you enjoy racing here in Dubai? Do you enjoy the people and the atmosphere in the Dubai?
Actually, Dubai is great. I raced my first marathon in 2013, and I did 2:04:56. This is my second time now racing in Dubai. It's actually great to be here. Thanks so much for the race organizers and everyone.
In just 2 years, the Burj2Burj has attracted some of the best half marathon runners in the world. It's really good to see how fast this event is going.
Actually, this race, I came here for the first time, and I can tell you in some few years to come, this race will be among the fastest in the world.
All right, there you have it. You've heard it from Bernard Kovic, our winner of the 2025 Burj2Burj. Let's get on and let's get back to the finish line.
Yelizima is currently just making that turn. She's going to be heading down into the finish very shortly.
Okay, directly in front of her. Let's stay centered in the middle of the road, yeah? There we
So
go.
she's still looking really nice and comfortable here.
Okay, keep this
Still looking
this is
pretty
great.
relaxed in her face. Her shoulders are relaxed. Little glance down to her watch. So I'd be really interested to know what time she was kind of hoping to get today. If she can get under that sub 70 minutes, that is going to be really impressive. It's going to get her that standard for the World Running Championships, World Road Running Championships later in the year. But here she is, coming down into the finish. At the moment, we're on 66.32. You cannot even see second place. She is miles ahead from second place, which is really exciting. There we go, 1:06:44 for Yelizima in first place. She absolutely destroyed the rest of the field, significantly quicker than last year.
of Ethiopia.
Hug from her teammate there, incredible run. She looked so relaxed. There wasn't anyone there, chasing her down. Let's see what the gap is between the first and second lady. But a 66 is an incredibly quick time for the half marathon here today.
7:09.
To give you an idea of the pace, that is 3 minutes and 9 seconds per kilometre that she was running that, which, you know, I don't even think I could do 1 kilometre at that pace, let alone 21. Here comes our second place. It looks like it's Ailish McColgan that is taken onto second place. Great to see Ailish come across in this second place position. She spends a lot of time in the UAE and here in Dubai, almost a second home for the Scot. She has that really nice long running style, and it's great to see that she has pulled that back. And it'll be awesome to see if Ailish as well is going to dip under that 70-minute marker. I think she is. She's going to get there comfortably today. At the moment, she is going to be coming in 68:30-ish. Again, still looking very comfortable, and great to see Ailish, almost a home athlete, taking that second place finish today. That was a quick turn of the tables, and she pulled that in nice and quickly, because Ailish wasn't in that top 3 when we came to the 15-kilometre point. And our third lady is just coming down the finishing straight now. Let's have a little look to see who this is coming in third place. Looking a little bit tired, one of our Adidas runners crossing the line in 69 minutes. So all 3 of our ladies going sub 70 minutes today, which is absolutely incredible. Great times there, and all 3 of them getting the qualification standard for the Road Running World Championships later in the year.
Sun is shining through with weather fair. Over the dunes came a travelling man.
Welcome back to the finish line. We are joined by the women's first place winner, Yelinza Yelahau. A wonderful, wonderful achievement. You broke last year's record. Tell us, how did you find the race?
First of all, thank you for inviting me this race, and I'm really happy to run this race. So I was enjoying. I'm really happy to come here.
And during the race, was there a part where you found it a little bit more challenging than the rest?
It's not challenging, but I ran without pace. But it's second time, so I'm really happy to run. I was enjoying in the race.
And in terms of, you built a very, very big gap pretty quickly. How did you manage to do that?
I was run the first 10K slowly, and then I tried to push the last 10K, so I feel good.
So just talk us through that. So you pushed through that last 10K and you really built that gap. How do you mentally get through that?
I was in good shape. So I try push myself. So I need to myself to cross the line.
Obviously, you crossed the finish line. There's loads of supporters here for you. What do you think about the atmosphere with the Burj2Burj Half-Marathon?
The spectators was good. The people was supporting me. It's giving me more morale. So I was trying to push myself. I'm really happy. I feel great.
Well, you certainly pushed yourself. A wonderful, wonderful achievement. Congratulations. Go and enjoy the celebrations. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, here we are. As you can see behind me, the finish line is absolutely wild. The vibe going off the hook at the beautiful Jumeirah Beach. What a morning it's been. What record times we've had in both the men's and women's races. A star-studded cast of elite athletes from around the world joining in
with over 10,000 athletes, over 80 countries represented here on Dubai's most iconic half marathon, the Burj2Burj. Having a look at the times, Amy Yaroslav of Ethiopia, first in the ladies, a 1:07.09, an incredible effort from her. Eilish McColgan from Great Britain in 2, and Jacqueline Chirona in 3. And then in the elite men, Bernard Koech just missing the magic 60-minute mark. He went 1 hour and 15 seconds. Wesley Yogo in 2, and last year's defending champion, Enos Kipruto, in 3. It's a 1-2-3 for Kenya in the elite men's. What a day, what a vibe. Put this event in your calendar in 2026. Amy, wow, how's your experience being here on the finish line?
Max, it's been absolutely incredible, and I think we just have to look at the progression from last year to this year. We had 3,561 runners last year. This year we have over 10,000. I mean, in 1 year, Max, it's pretty incredible. And just look at all the new elites as well that's joined us this year. More elites joining the program. It's just fantastic. And of course, we've had PBs. We've had times absolutely smashed out the park from last year, both in the women's and the men's. It's just been an incredible day. So look, we hope everybody has enjoyed the race. If you want to join in next year, keep up to date on the Burj2Burj website and all the social media platforms, also on the world's iconic platforms. And also, we want to thank everybody, all our sponsors, all the activations who have been here supporting the event throughout the year and here today. And we just can't wait to see you all again next year. From myself, Max, Doug and Clara, the commentary team, we wish you a wonderful day, and we'll see you in 2026.